So every city claims that they have the most parks per person. Mississauga says it, Brampton says it, Vaughan definitely says it. But I wanted the truth, cold hard numbers, no opinions, no rumors, just the data. What I found surprised me. Actually, it shocked me a little bit because the city with the most park space per person, well, it's definitely not downtown Toronto. It's not even close to what most people would expect. I'm going to count down the top five, and by the end, you'll know exactly which GTA city is quietly winning the green space game. And if you're thinking about buying here, this matters more than you think. So, before I blow your mind with the winner, let me explain why the park space actually matters for your wallet. You're 35 to 45, you've got kids or a dog or at least a pair of running shoes. We all do that we pretend to use. You care about where you live, not just the square footage of your home. Here's what the data shows: homes within a 10-minute walk of a park hold value better. They sell faster, and in a market where interest rates do the Macarena every couple of months, you want an asset that stays solid. Also, let's be honest, nobody moves to the suburbs to stare at concrete. You moved out here so your kid could ride a bike without breathing exhaust fumes. So, knowing which cities actually deliver on that promise, kind of important. All right, let's start the countdown. Number five might surprise you. Coming in at number five, we have Mississauga. Now, before my Mississauga peeps come at me in the comments, hear me out. Mississauga has some gorgeous spots. Port Credit is lovely. Rattray Marsh is actually stunning. And I've been to Arundel Park countless times. I'm not here to trash talk, but the numbers don't lie. Mississauga's parkland provision goal is about 1.2 hectares per 1,000 people. That's not what they have. That's what they're aiming for. And with a population of over 700,000 and growing fast, the math gets tough. More people, same amount of grass, kind of see the problem. Mississauga is trying, they really are, but when you're squeezing that many people into that space, the parks get crowded fast. Great city, green space, sort of middle of the pack. Number four is Toronto. And I know Toronto has Hyde Park, Toronto has the Don Valley. Toronto is a city that is bursting with parks, but here's the catch. Toronto has 2.9 hectares of parkland per 1,000 people, which is actually decent on paper. The problem is distribution. Downtown Toronto is a park desert. If you live in a condo near King and Bathurst, your closest park might be a sad patch of dirt with a bench, and someone is likely sleeping on said bench. Toronto's population is growing way faster than its parkland. They're adding condos like crazy, but you can't exactly build a new park on top of a Shoppers Drug Mart. So while Toronto has some incredible green spaces, actually getting to one without a 10-minute streetcar ride, well, that's a real challenge. Number three is Burlington, and this is where the rankings start getting interesting. Burlington has about 3.2 hectares per 1,000 people. Spencer Smith Park, right on the water, chef's kiss. The waterfront trail, beautiful. Burlington does a lot right. They've protected their shoreline. They've got nice neighborhood parks. It's a solid contender. But here's the thing about Burlington: it's narrower than Oakville geographically. There's only so much room to grow, and the pressure to develop is real. Burlington is like that friend who's really good at everything, but never really quite the best at one thing. Great parks, just not quite enough to crack the top two. Number two is Brampton. And I need you to sit down for this one because Brampton does not get enough credit. Brampton has 5.7 hectares of parkland per 1,000 people. That's nearly double Toronto's number. Let that sink in. Professor's Lake, Gage Park, the Etobicoke Creek Trail System, Brampton is quietly building something special. Parklands make up about 14% of the city's total land area. So why isn't Brampton number one? Well, two reasons. First, a lot of that parkland is newer, which means the trees aren't mature yet. You're getting the space, but you're missing that walking in a forest feeling. Second, and I'm just being honest here, perception matters. When people think great parks, they don't usually think Brampton first, but the data says they should. Brampton is the underdog story of GTA Green Space. So we've got Mississauga at five, Toronto at four, Burlington at three, and Brampton at two, which leaves one city standing. And before I reveal it, let me give you some clues. This city has 1,863 hectares of parkland. We're not talking tiny postage stamp parks. We're talking about some serious green space. It has 255 kilometers of trails. You can walk from here to London, Ontario without leaving the path. Not that you should, but you could. It has 92% of its residents rating parks as their top service, not the roads, not snow removal, parks. So these people are really, really, really into trees. The city has been aggressively buying land for years. They just bought another 110 acres up near the north end to make sure that it doesn't turn into a concrete jungle. And when you do the math, park spaces divided by people, this city sits at roughly 7.8 hectares of green space for every 1,000 residents. If you haven't guessed it, you're about to find out. And the number one city in the GTA for parkland per person is Oakville. I know. Some of you saw that coming, but here's why it matters. Oakville isn't just winning on paper. That green space that we're talking about is actually usable. Connected trails, neighborhood parks that don't require a cart to get to. We're talking about the waterfront, Bronte Creek, 16 Mile Creek, Lion Valley Park, which is another amazing park. When you buy in Oakville, you're not just buying a house. You're buying into a city that decided decades ago that green space was worth protecting. And that decision, well, it's baked into your property value. So here's my question for you. Did this list surprise you? Where did you think Oakville would rank before I started? Drop it in the comments. I would really, really like to know. And if you're thinking about making a move to Oakville, or you just already live here and want to find a home closer to the trails, follow this channel. I break down the Oakville market every week. No fluff, just the data that actually helps you make smart moves. Because in Oakville, we don't just live near the parks, we pretty much live in them.